Hello, Brianna. We're going to take a look at your first two postings for creative for the creative composition class. And so let me go ahead and sorry about that. I got lost on my screen for a second there. So let me go ahead and screen share here. Boop. And we'll get started. So let's go ahead and come on down and find your posting for emphasis and check it out. So first thing I do is go through and look at the overall sort of posting to see that you are kind of following the general guidelines, the instructions of the project itself. This is an important part of the learning process, is an important part of being a creative professional, because we're always using parameters within our creative process. If we're working with someone else, if we're working with others, we would want to be able to follow their needs. What we're doing a lot of times is translating. When we have someone like a patron or a client, or we're collaborating with someone, we're actually translating what they can't communicate visually, usually, if we're the visual artists on the project. So being able to take their instruction as to what they're trying to achieve and be able to translate that into visuals given certain parameters is an important part. So what I do is I look to see that you can do that. Is it set up in the way that appears that you understood just even the instructions of the project itself, which is a good thing. You can make excellent imagery and not have followed like the parameters, right? Someone could go off and make random photographs that are all amazing photographs, beautiful photographs that have nothing to do or are very far off from the project itself. And that would be considered a bad project because they made beautiful photographs, but it has nothing to do with the exercise. So let's kind of take a look at what we have. First of all, just by overall look, the quality of light that you're using here is fantastic. Excellent. That's the first thing that I would say. And I would say quality of light. And I'll clarify that a little bit later. However, what I'm seeing here is especially these first two images, and then this next image, and then this next image, and then here we're over here for this other part. I'm not sure that you completely grasped the process of what we were doing. So what we were doing here was we're starting out from a certain perspective, which you did in the environment. You start off from a completely far away distance, and then the next image, which has the theme of portrait, you're coming in, cutting that distance in half. So the distance you are on this image, the next series of photographs you're exploring to try to make another good composition, you should be half again as close. This is not half again as close, not nearly there. So I know that sounds picky, and I'm not trying to be picky, but this is the same distance, basically. And so there's a reason that I want you guys to be moving in half a distance and then half a distance and half a distance. That reason is when you make choices like that to change your perspective from one distance to another distance to get closer to something, particularly within a project, you'll want to do it in such a way that it is clear that you're doing it. You'll want to make those changes in such a way that it affects the image itself. Showing something in an environment and making a portrait of a thing are two different strategies. And so the reason we are coming in closer is to do that. It looks like to me, your interpretation of the project here is that you made a lot of photographs from different distances, then went through them and chose which ones seemed to follow the themes that were offered to you. That's what it looks like. It appears to me. Whether that's the truth or whether that's the reality or not, I don't know. It doesn't matter. The photographs are beautiful. They are. They're quite lovely. Your use of space here, moving through, using the entire picture plane, your quality of light, shadow, highlights. Texture is pretty plain and straightforward. You didn't really explore or do too much with that one. Even line, you're using these varying lines and variations here. This one would be a good example of line as well. All of this stuff was working fairly well. These two photographs, line and shadow, are pretty much duplicates of each other, just on the opposite side. However, these aren't following that come in kind of parameter there. And I would have encouraged you to do that a bit more. Follow those instructions exactly, and then be creative within that. You see examples of that with your peers. The second thing that I would suggest is various times of day. You've chosen a really excellent time of day here. However, it's the only time of day that you chose. And I can tell based on the time of day that these photographs were taken probably within about 20 minutes, because the time of day here is fleeting light. The light is changing very quickly here. Shadows are getting long, the sun is coming down. This light doesn't last very long. I want you to be spending a lot more time making photographs on these projects. You have an entire 5 days to explore. Take advantage of that. There's so much more that you could discover. You've got a lot to say. I can tell that you have some skill compositionally here, but you didn't show that to us as much as you could have within these photographs. I can see like potential boiling out here that wants to boil out, but it looks like either you didn't have the time to really invest a lot of time in the project itself. Because again, these are fantastic photographs that appear to be taken in about 15, 20 minutes. So I don't say any of these things as criticism. None of it is criticism. I don't criticize ever. There's no point to it, right? Why would I do that? I see these things as observations. It's purely, this is what I see. This is what I see. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you took these photographs over several days, just happened to show up exactly the same time each day and spent an hour photographing at exactly the same time each day. I have no idea. But what I'm observing are photographs that appear to be that way. And I'm telling you these things, not to be like, hey, you should be doing these things. I'm telling you these things because I want you to improve. You could do so much better, I think, because I see even in this, where you spent what looks like less time, if you had spent and taken advantage of a lot more time, man, what your photographs would have looked like. That would have been amazing. Just amazing. So let's take a look at your rule of thirds here. See where we are. There we are, balance. All right, rule of thirds, balance. So again, same thing. I just kind of peruse through here and look. You know, you've got a very wonderful sort of sense about composition here. Very sort of almost natural way about placing objects within the scene, and you're using all verticals here, which I like. I appreciate your choice in doing all verticals, because it helps the series feel like it's a cohesive statement. It's kind of like using the same typeface throughout a book. If you use a bunch of different typefaces, it kind of feels like you're all over the place. So when you chose vertical, which is a very dynamic way to photograph verticals, and you kept that. This is a real challenging photograph to do because you've got the sun in here. You'll in the future try to avoid doing that when you can. Just a little bit farther off would have probably been a better choice out there. The sun can be a real challenge to try to balance out. You've got her placed a bit in the center there. In the correct place on the horizontal line there, she's kind of over here. However, the vertical line, she's placed there very well. But as far as the horizontals, we look like we're cutting the composition in half. So when you're doing the rule of thirds, don't forget to use the horizontal and the verticals, because that's really what's going to create that juxtapose, that balance that keeps the eye moving around the composition. It's tough to remember all those things sometimes because you're just learning it. You're just figuring it out. You may have just been introduced to it right away. It seems like you like this time of day. This is golden hour, basically, is what you're doing. And it's a great time to like. It really is. You've got a very good sense about using shadow within your photographs. If that's just an instinct, good instinct. That's excellent. I would just encourage you to keep doing that. Again, you've got the vertical placements on here just right. The horizontal placements are a little bit too centrally located. You can see here the horizon, it's evenly dividing the composition. Let's choose up or down. That's going to give you the rule of thirds that you're looking for. Same idea. Beautiful lighting, Brianna. Very good. Very good. Again, excellent. I mean, it's the same issue. I hope you can see right here that the proper rule of thirds would have been to up or down. It doesn't mean these photographs aren't excellent and that these aren't beautifully achieved images. They are. I would not have changed these. I think you made a good choice in terms of creating the balance here, balance, and then juxtaposing that. That I'm not saying you would change. What I'm saying is if we're talking about the rule of thirds, you needed to go up or down. So we're talking about the project in and of itself, up or down. That's what I mean about the follow instruction thing. You know, you can make amazing images, which this is, but at the same time, we want to kind of work within the parameters of what we're doing. And this is great. This is really good stuff, Brianna. Again, you're doing the same thing. I just want to make sure, you know, I want to see that you know that horizontal horizon needs to be offset, not in the center. Here you've done it. You got the horizontal finally offset. It's almost a little too low, but not too bad. We got a little bit of tension right here. Not a little bit, we've got a lot of tension right here where the words are crashing into this space right here. You would have been well suited to either let the S run completely off the page or have allowed that stop sign to be well within the composition so that you don't create that real harsh tension. You've both got red and a word over there. It's really pulling us away there. That one got away from you a little bit. Quality of light, excellent, excellent, excellent. All right. Well, I really admire what you're doing here. I think you've got a lot of excellent things happening within these images, and really, my suggestions are really simple to correct or simple to move forward. Just read very carefully what the parameters of the project are. If you have questions, please get with me and I will clarify whatever those things are. We don't want you to get tripped up by technicalities, right? If there is a parameter that you're reading and you're going, I'm not sure what that exactly means, please, I will clarify and clarify and clarify over and over again. It does not bother me to do that at all because I want you to practice that now rather than it coming back on you. If you're in the professional world, you're working with a client, you come to them with some amazing work, but it's not what they had asked for. They'll be impressed by your skill, but they will be disappointed that you didn't give them what they had asked for. So looking forward to more of your work, and we will see you in class. All right, bye-bye now.